Hi everyone, welcome to today's Q&A session. Today is we're going to be hanging out with an old friend of mine and someone who I always have a blast with, and just big fan of his music as well. So today we're going to be speaking to Thomas J, or TJ, from King Dude, and I'm just going to bring him in now. And sorry about that, you just had got a nice look of my crap there. Okay. Whoop, the buttons. Alright, give me 1 second. Here he is.
Hey,
Hey,
how you
hey.
doing?
I'm good. How are
Oh, where's
you?
your? I'm good. Where's your mask?
I'm inside, but I've got mine.
Yeah, it'd
Mm,
make me a little bit more comfortable if you wore it during this interview,
okay. Okay. I'm gonna
just
do
for the
it.
duration of it. If you could, just because of social distancing, I want to make sure
We
that I
don't
don't.
catch anything.
Yeah, because we don't. I mean, Australia's been
We
pretty
don't.
good about the lockdown. I don't want to be the one that fucks it up at this point.
You don't want to give it to me.
Yeah, I had to take the tape off my camera here to do
Yeah.
the interview in the first place, so. Uh, this is awkward for me. I mean, this is really like I feel very vulnerable right now.
Yeah, you're out there. This is like, I mean, this is like the
I love
seventh
how
or
I
eighth
just you
one.
had your mask on hand too. Like you just were like, oh yeah, boom, bam.
Yeah, it's right here. Yeah,
We
you
don't know how
know,
this thing is. We don't know how we send it to each other yet.
yeah,
Possibly we send it
it's
over. I've heard it's over 5G.
yeah, that's supposedly the
We
conspiracy.
we take them off now.
You can't breathe,
That's a stupid joke. I'm sorry.
but I had it ready.
You did have it ready. Nice to see you. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. How things there?
Oh,
You
Seattle's just real chill. Nothing really going on here to report. Pretty.
got a little bit more facial hair happening?
I grew something. I grew it. Yeah,
All
I'm
by
just,
yourself?
yeah. I mean, if you just don't shave, that's what happens. Is it too dark? This is how I like my
No,
apartment.
no,
Oh,
it's
okay.
good.
Good.
Yeah, that's good. It's
Fine.
mine's like that, but darker normally. But it's like
Your
1 o'clock in
beard,
the
or what are
afternoon.
you talking about? You're talking about your apartment.
Yeah,
Uh,
not my beard.
yeah, yeah. You don't have a
Luckily,
beard.
I'm
You
beardless.
look great. I haven't seen you since I was there back in April of 2019. Do you remember that?
Yep, last year.
I
Yep.
played that show at I think it's the Evelyn,
Yes.
and then
With
afterwards we went
Gareth.
to our friend's house to like have a couple
You
drinks,
guys,
and
you guys got.
a really annoying guy came along, and do you remember when I told him he was being so rude to you and your
Yeah, yeah,
friends, and on the stairwell, I turned around and I said, I will beat the fucking shit out of you if you don't fucking
yeah.
shut
You
the fuck
did.
up.
Yeah,
And
you
it was
did.
like it was like it was like the fucking whole room changed, at that point,
Yeah, yeah. It was like,
but he was just up. He was driving me up the fucking wall. He kept touching me. I don't like when people touch me that I don't know. It's
yeah,
rude, I think.
yeah,
And he
yeah,
was being rude to you and your friends because you're ladies. I think. I don't think the guy
yeah,
respected anybody on earth.
yeah,
But
yeah. He
he
did.
also didn't. He thought because I sing folk music, I got an acoustic guitar. I will beat the shit out of him. This is wrong.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
I waited till we were
yeah.
halfway up the stairs, and I turned around. I'm like 3 steps higher than you right now. Do you still want to do this? And he's like, no. I was like, are you gonna behave? Yes. That was awkward.
It was awkward, but it was amazing at the same time.
Well, I think I mean, you got to choose your battles, and you got to choose when to do them, right? You
Yeah,
know,
he was just not gonna stop, that guy.
that guy's a piece of shit.
He was
I
like,
probably should have just hit him, but it would have been awkward, more awkward. But
yeah,
he was pissing me off before he was pissing you off.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, oh God, shut the fuck up. He
But
was the
these
one
some
who,
people too, they just don't like. They don't get. They're not good at social situations, or they feel weird and awkward, and so they act out, kind of
mm,
like children. It's like
yeah, he was kind of like he'd never been around women before or something.
I don't know, or
He,
folk singers. He'd never been
yeah.
around folk singers, and
He
everybody.
definitely didn't want us there.
Yeah, no, he didn't. And he was just
And
such a creep. And the rest of the night, it was all politics talks. It was the worst. But luckily, the guy from what band is it? That New Zealand band, that death metal band, was there, and he was just like, "Enough of this shit." What band is
yes,
that? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Because I was like, no more,
Thank
no.
fucking God. Can we just
Just
stop?
drink, just have drinks.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
like at that hour. At like 3 in the morning. What do you want to really do?
yeah, you don't want to talk about politics and shit. I don't even want to do that like at like a normal time,
Well,
mostly,
there's a
let
time,
alone
but
at 3 a.m.
there's a time and place, but it's never like on Facebook, and it's never on social media, and it's never in
at
person
3 a.m.
when you're having a party. That's like, oh
Yeah,
God, I can't think of a worse time. But when do you talk about it? When do you find the time? So you got to do it
yeah,
sometime.
yeah,
I guess I don't know.
yeah, yeah. Just not when
Funerals,
you're, not
funerals.
when
I
you're,
think that
yeah,
funerals.
just
That's
not
the
when you're
appropriate.
having fun. You know what I mean? Not when
Well, I
you're just like,
remember, like, speaking of fun, I remember, do you remember not too long ago, about 10 years ago, and you're Australian, so I know this is going to resonate with you,
mm-hmm.
probably now, but like all the bands that existed like 10 years ago, not even 10 years ago, I'd say like 6, 7 years ago, like all the pizza, burger, records, bands,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
they thinking about is like, we just surf all day and drink and have fun all day,
and take, yeah, drink, drugs,
drinking drugs and
girls,
just party,
food,
and we don't have
yeah,
anything
yeah,
to say, right?
yeah,
I hated that
yeah,
shit so much. I was like, this is the most vapid garbage. And then now it's like flipped around, and all those people are like, politics, politics, politics. And I'm like,
mm-hmm.
I wish you guys were just thinking about pizza and hamburgers again.
Yeah,
Just because
yeah.
I don't want to hear this shit from you guys.
No, no, not at all.
Ugh.
Yeah, it has. It's just like, yeah, now it's just like, I mean, even just like if you go on like, I'll go on Twitter and then all of a sudden I'll be like, fuck, my head's gonna explode
I
because
don't look at it anymore.
everyone's like
Yeah.
talking about it. So I just scroll, scroll, scroll,
No,
scroll,
Twitter's the
scroll,
worst.
scroll.
Twitter's the worst. I mean, that's the absolute worst. You,
Yeah, because people, and then they're retweeting and like, oh,
I
and I'm
think it
like,
was the
no
worst. I think
more.
when I was like when Egypt was liberated, they were
Hmm.
using Twitter to send coordinates to the UN to do certain strikes, like
Yeah,
to,
yeah,
yeah, airstrikes. And I was just like, well, that's like a tool of war. Like, what the fuck is, and then if you look at how weaponized it's become in like politics now, with the
yeah,
president, it's just
massively.
open. Like they should, the best thing that dude who owns Twitter could do is he's got millions and millions of fucking billions of dollars. He could just like shut it down. That would be the
Yeah,
sickest thing. If
you
he
just one
if
day
he
it
just
goes, whoop.
muted everyone, just like done. Why does he have to keep doing it? Why does our
I don't,
president have to fucking tweet? I don't get that shit at all.
no, and he could delete him. Like, what's he gonna do?
And also, like, why is that? Why do people why do news channels talk about what somebody tweeted? Who gives a
Yeah,
shit?
yeah, exactly. When it's him because he's such a fucktard.
Well, you can't
He,
spell Twitter without twit. And there's a
yeah,
bunch of twits on that fucking thing. I don't know. He's just one of them. I mean, he's one of many. It's a
yeah,
fucking
many.
shit show.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I saw. Did you see that crazy ass video that's going around? I haven't watched it because I don't have the like I don't know. It would just make me want to vomit. But it was like there's some video going around everywhere viral with these fucking Trump fans like singing a Trump
No,
song or something. Yeah,
no, I
you're
haven't
not
seen that.
missing anything. It's like it just keeps coming up, and I would keep like scrolling. I'm like,
I'm pretty much off of
I
Facebook. I don't
can't.
look at Twitter in years. Um,
Yeah, I couldn't even remember your Twitter handle when I was like
it
trying
was
to.
for actual pain, and actually, that's how we
That's
met.
what it was. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's
It was
still
actually
there,
pain
but
the
I'm
whole
sure
time.
people just say weird shit about it. I don't know. I don't even care because it's like if you don't look at it, you can't care. Like if you just stop
Yeah, if
looking.
you yeah,
Yeah,
people start to see that you're not on it anyway, and then they don't write on it anymore.
I could
Yeah,
almost tell how mentally ill someone is, today by how many tweets they make per day. Like if
yeah,
they're like,
yeah,
go to their
yeah,
Twitter, oh, they've taken 18 moments of their day to type out something to send like to everybody to
yeah, yeah,
broadcast.
yeah. And
Oh, that's
I
18 moments you could have like thought about what you're gonna say instead
yeah,
of
yeah,
doing that, or meditated, or
or a
focused on
billion other
anything
things.
else. Learned a language, you fucks. It's just so
Yeah,
boring. It's so boring.
it's like a yelling out into the ether. I mean, I've done it
Sure.
before. I
Yeah.
mean, and I've at least like I mean, I remember one of the all-time funny ones, which was You drunk in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm
Instagram
not saying I'm
videoing,
a saint.
and you're like
There's a
la
reason
la
why I
la
don't.
la la.
There's a reason why I don't do it too, because
Because
I mean,
I
I
think
drink
you're
alcohol, and alcohol plus social
same.
media is terrible. I think it's like
Yeah,
probably the worst thing you could combo up because
yeah.
uh,
Anything can
you'll,
happen. I remember that night, and you were like, you kept, I think you posted like 10 Instagram videos, and you were just screaming and doing all sorts of shit. And I remember calling
I don't
you from
remember
your
that at
house.
all.
You were plastered, babe.
I was
And
probably just
I was like,
wasted.
I'm gonna call TJ on video chat and see what the fuck he's doing, because you were just like posting video after video after
When
video.
was this? How long ago was that?
Maybe I think it was like 2 years ago,
I
and it
was
was like,
probably going through a breakup. That's usually when I'm the
yeah,
most like
you
fucking
had your
shitty.
shirt, you had your like shirt off, and you were like
Oh God, yeah,
screaming
I
and like,
vaguely
yeah.
remember. I've buried this memory.
and
God,
then
this
it,
is like
and then
this
it
is
was
like
deleted.
TMZ. This is the kind of reporting you're doing now. That's the level.
No,
You're like
no,
the
no.
TMZ for
But
people that aren't
what
famous.
I'm no, but what I'm saying is that yeah, that's exactly why. You see, you let leash on the like video, whereas like yeah, and I have done
Why
it
was
on
I
Twitter.
shirtless? What was I thinking?
I don't. You were like growling. It was hilarious. It was
I
really
bet it
funny.
was fun.
It
I don't
was
know. I'm
really,
sure like
really. It was really fun. Like
in
you were in a
hindsight,
great
like
mood.
if I didn't delete it, then I because that's
You
kind of like
did.
the
You
did I
deleted it. You deleted the whole lot. I think then about 4 hours later, because I was like, dude, stop posting videos, man. Like, 'cause you just
yeah.
like, and you'd be like swearing into the camera, or like, it was just amazing. It was so
So
good to watch. But
awkward.
yeah,
I mean, I
but
vaguely remember. Yeah, that's not good. That's not what I want
but
my
that's what
legacy to
happened.
be
That's
known
what happens
as.
with Twitter. Yeah.
That is what happens. Social media is a dangerous tool, especially if you drink. Like it's like, or if you're mentally unstable in any way, shape, or form. But it can
Mm.
also be the thing that like rebalances you. It can't sober you up, but I think for some people that are that are mentally unwell, which is a real thing. I mean, a lot of people
Yeah.
have experience this dysphoria and this anxiety and all kinds of things, and it helps them balance themselves. It helps them feel connected. But the
Yeah.
unfortunate truth about that is like, well, A, it's not a real connection,
Mm.
and B, I would say that other people that are maybe that shouldn't have a connection are having connections, like the whole incel movement, or the whole like, just
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
people that used to be the village idiot are now they feel like
That
they're
that
part of our
that
community.
reminds me of that guy. That's what I thought that guy was that came back with us that night.
Oh, like an incel.
Yeah. He was like, I ain't never getting laid ever.
I don't remember his whole like what he was saying, but he's just really aggressive. And there's a way that somebody puts their arm around you that's a little too much, and you try and send him the signal, don't do it. And he was just
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
that over and over and over and over again. And then he was picking on you guys, and I was just like, you know what? Fuck this guy.
yeah, yeah. He was a douche. He
I
was a
hope he's
douche.
listening. I don't think he is, but if he is, fuck you. I don't like
No,
him. I
no,
mean,
no.
he's an idiot.
Yeah, he was trying to hold you and stuff. I remember that.
Yeah, you remember
Like
that
you
up
were,
front? And I was like, could you please not? Like, I don't fucking know you. My friends don't even do that to me.
yeah. Oh,
But
I
now
do.
in like this like COVID world, that's like
Yeah, definitely not. Get
you
away.
can't do it. And I'm
Yeah,
more
yeah,
than happy with that because I don't want to be
yeah,
touched. I don't like being
yeah.
touched by people.
Freaky touches.
Yeah.
Yeah, like like who you can and can't like do that shit with.
Well, yeah,
I
I've
was
noticed since COVID kind of took off as people are taking it serious and the whole social distancing, you could like scale down your friends or like who you thought was your friends by like when you see them, you stick your hand out, hey, how's it going? But if they're like, no, then that they're at that level. But if you
yeah.
still hug, they're at like, I would, basically it means like it's coded within the hug that I'm willing to die to hug you now. That
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
hugs,
yeah, yeah.
that's so sick. Like that's where
Yeah,
hugs should have been the whole time.
yeah, yeah.
Americans love to hug. We hug everyone all the time. And
Mm.
it's almost annoying. You end up hugging somebody you don't like. Now it's like you only hug people that you're willing to die
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
I had like a friend come over last week, and we like had like 3 bottles of wine, and yeah, and I was like big hugs. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're one of my dudes. It's all
Yeah, that's
right.
right.
But
I
you know,
mean,
other people, you like kind of stand back. You know.
yeah, I was in Sweden for most of the outbreak, for the initial outbreak of it, and they already do social distancing all
Yeah.
the time. Anyways, they're never
Anyway.
socially
Yeah.
close. But it was interesting to be there and to meet people, because we did a couple shows with
Yeah.
proper social distancing in place and all that. But just meeting the organizers that I never met before and just the awkwardness, it was so extremely awkward. Like,
Hmm.
because normally at least shake hands, but nobody was
Yeah.
doing that. And yeah,
Yeah.
Swedish people have a tendency to be kind of, you know, I guess we would read it from our countries as standoffish,
Yeah.
but it's really just it's a cultural thing. It's not they don't fucking hate you. They're just like um, they don't
They don't show their shit.
they don't know you yet. They
Mm.
don't throw around the word like, hey, I love you, man. I love you,
Yeah.
bro. They don't do that. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's a long path to get to that. Yeah. Well, we throw that around a lot over here as
so
well.
do we. Yeah, that's why I
We
love
love it
Australians so much. I
because
love
we're just
Australia.
like, fuck it, yeah, yeah.
Well,
We
you
always
guys are
do.
the best. Not all of you, of course, but I mean, generally speaking, though, I mean, we have a very similar uh, sort of country arc.
Mm.
Everyone's always like, "Oh, Australians, isn't that a country of prisoners?" I just told my friend the other day, "Oh, you know,
Convicts.
I'm engaged to an Australian. Oh, isn't that a whole country full of prisoners?" I go, "Yeah, just like this country was,
Yeah.
just like our country was. Like, who do you think came over first? You think it
Yeah.
was like voluntary people? No, it was not.
No, it
It
was
was the
convicts.
rejects of England and France. As
Yeah.
soon as they didn't want,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because their like prisons were too full.
yeah,
That was the
basically, they needed
like
people there to like expand the empire. We come from the
to to,
same
to build
colonialist,
all the shit.
really, but we just haven't had the queen on our money for a long time. I think do you still have the queen on your money, or did you get rid of it?
No, we
Yeah,
still do.
got to
Mm.
get rid of that. Got to get
I
rid
don't
of
know why. I don't know why we. I don't know why. Every time we have like a vote where it's like, let's like leave the
Yeah, but who are you going to put on your money instead? Scott Morrison? You could put some,
fuck no,
yeah,
fuck no.
you could put some Aboriginals on there. I mean, that would be nice, right?
We have one, I think.
Yeah.
Wow, one, and
Wow.
yeah, the
Well, we have like a Sacagawea coin, we have like none as well. And that coin is super
yeah,
rare. Like nobody has that in their pocket right now.
yeah, yeah. It's yeah, it's fucking shit. But we yeah, like we have. I don't even know what we're saying now because I just went into a time warp.
That's okay. We're talking about money and we're talking about the people on money and
Oh
how
yeah,
well,
yeah,
first of
yeah.
all, money's stupid. We should talk about what money is. Money's dumb. Money is
Money's
the
dumb,
money's
but
dumb.
money's dumb, but you need it, and that's what's shit about it. That's what I hate. I don't like about it.
Yeah, the only other way, like it'd be hard to barter for like an international flight. Like to be like, I will give you
Yeah,
a barrel of apples if you will let me
to get
fly on
that.
your airplane to fucking Australia. Like that's like pretty much not going to happen, right? So, but money itself, like printed money, is like one of those crazy things that people don't understand how influential it is. Like
Mm,
in a day to day
way.
or a common way. Yeah, they don't understand spells and they don't understand sigil magic and they don't understand like witchcraft really or what it actually represents. So when like $100 bill is worth it's printed on the same exact dimensions as a $1 bill, right?
Yeah,
And this sort of like this difference in it, makes it more valuable, right? But it's all like illusionary, right? And I like when you think about money in the terms of like money in the bank because now it's all digital, like
yeah,
it's so made
yeah.
up.
Mm.
And
Because
but
it's
if
pretty
you
much hardly anyone uses actual cash
Yeah,
here
cash is
anymore.
going away.
Mm.
Cash is
Everyone's got the tap.
well that in Sweden they're like going to go fully cashless, you know,
Shit.
like fully. I think in the next few years they plan on it. I'm not sure when, but they canceled a lot of their currency because
Wow.
the less currency you have in circulation, the more the more um, likelihood that it will be counterfeited. It becomes more likely that
Yeah,
it'll be counterfeited because nobody knows what the currency looks like. So that was a
yeah,
big problem in Sweden. They were dealing with a lot of counterfeit because nobody paid in cash, and when they would it could be counterfeit. They didn't know what the money looks like anymore, so they canceled
Yeah,
about
yeah.
they canceled a lot of their coins. And so I have a bunch of coins too, and I was just like, oh, that's great.
What do
Um,
you do with it?
Nothing. It's useless. I mean,
Just
it's not even
bin.
like you can't smelt it down. You can't turn it to anything. It's not even.
Mm,
It's not
shit.
the. It doesn't equal um, the mineral value of it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Well, I mean, you've seen our money, and our money's
it's
like
amazing.
your money's like paper, like
Yeah, your
punched
money's
up,
plastic and see through, and it's like
and
Canadian money.
it's got all like little three-dimensional things that you can
Yeah,
really
yeah, and
see
it's
in the
when
light
you
and all
roll it
that
up,
shit.
you know what I mean. And you do a little,
Yeah, I know what you
it's
mean.
perfect,
Perfect.
but it just
Yeah, I
goes
know.
bounces right
Because
back.
it's hard and it just goes, whew, and good to go.
It's good to
Always.
go. Yeah, always good to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
That's not what anybody should do with money, by the way. That's like one of the worst things you can do with money. But it is a reflection of how you feel about yourself if you choose to do that with money.
Yes.
You know,
Hmm.
I always
Hmm.
like the real deal drug users that have their own like metal straw of some kind. I'm like, Jesus Christ, did you just take a fucking time machine from the 1970s here? Who the fuck are you? But you only really see that in Berlin, places like that where
Yeah.
they're just like where drugs are just so prevalent. And that's actually
Yeah.
something I
Yeah.
like about Australia is drugs are not as prevalent as people might assume about
Mm.
because it's very expensive there. And
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Coke is like
what drug is
milli
available? What if you were in Australia right now? What's the easiest drug to get on the street? Meth?
and weed.
I was hoping you'd say no, not meth, but yeah, it's meth, isn't it? You
It
have an
would be,
ice
yeah.
problem, don't you?
It's and speed. Loads of speed. Lots of people do that because it's like,
Because
and
it's
that is because it's cheap and yeah, like and
um,
like it's the only sort of thing that I guess is like speedy or whatever equivalent ish
well, so like,
to Coke.
but maybe they're on speed because that's the only way they could like keep all the spiders and snakes and scorpions at bay. Like that's the only way they could actually because you can't sleep in Australia. If you're in Australia, if you go to sleep, that's when all the fucking things come out and get you.
Come out, yeah,
So you have to
yeah,
stay up constantly.
yeah.
And
That's what I do. Yeah, that's what I do. I'm sure your fiance's told you that. You just
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna move to Brisbane. I hope and
that's where my family is.
oh really?
Well, yeah, my dad and my sister, yeah. So I go up there every now and again.
Yeah, and I'm sure I'll come down to Melbourne. You're still in Melbourne,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, Brisbane's like a bit of a boat. You've been toured there, haven't you?
I've been there quite a bit. I love it there.
Yeah. It's like, it's bogan, but it's like
I think in the
got a
outside
beach.
it's bogan, but in the where I've been, I haven't seen that much bogan stuff, But it's more like Ipswich. It's kind of,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah, I know how you guys are. Everybody northern is bogan. Everybody
yeah.
above wherever you're at is a bogan.
Hey,
So there's like,
I was born a bogan, like, but then I
and
just
so
kind of
you'll
out.
always be a bogan.
Yeah, I was like a white trash bogan too. So
I bet do you think any of the listeners even know what bogan is? Or, you know,
maybe,
don't,
I don't know actually. Probably not Americans. Maybe it's just like
yeah,
a redneck, really, isn't
yeah,
it?
that's what we're talking about. We're talking about rednecks. We're talking about white trash. It's really white trash. Rednecks are different. I
Yeah,
used to live.
they're more like whereas bogans are a different kind
Well,
of.
we have a lot. We have a lot of
They are
different names.
unique. They're a unique breed.
Well, you just have one name for all of your trash. We have like specific names. Rednecks. No, I'm serious.
Yeah,
Rednecks
yeah,
are people that work that are like farmers. They get a redneck from like being outdoors, from
yeah,
working on the
yeah,
farms. But then there's hillbillies. That's like in
yeah,
Kentucky. They live up in the mountains. Hillbillies are
yeah, yeah.
different than we have even more. But I'm thinking of more. There's like white trash is even different than that. But you could kind of use white trash to describe all of them. And
Yeah,
yeah. I
because
mean,
yeah, because yeah, oh, that's what I was gonna say. I was when I was born. My address is a caravan park, which is a trailer park. What you guys
so
call
you're
trailer
gypsy
park.
a little bit. Are
Yeah,
you
so I
really?
lived in.
Are you really? Like
What's that?
Roma? Are you really Roma?
What's Roma?
Roma is the like proper name for a gypsy. Like gypsy can be considered
No, we were just
derogatory.
no, we were just poor
Yeah, I don't
Slavic.
think either is bad. I mean, of course I don't. I mean, there are
We
Romas everywhere on earth, but yeah, and a lot of them call themselves gypsies, and I have friends that are Roma, or they call themselves gypsies. But yeah, that's a crazy, like growing up in a trailer park. That's some shit,
yeah,
isn't it? Yeah.
yeah. That was like for the first like, I don't know, 3 years. So I was a baby, I wouldn't have known. But yeah, like all my relatives are like, look like members of AC/DC. That's a bogan, pretty much.
Really?
Yeah, except change the shoes for like flip-flops,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and like
yeah,
just like, they're all like, fuck yeah, mate.
yeah.
Yeah, like,
Just
and
like
they're
they
all
kind of sun drenched. They've been in the sun too long. They have
they've
a
been
mullet,
like
a little bit of a
a
mullet,
bit of a mullet. Yeah,
like a really
yeah,
kind of homemade tattoo, maybe one
yeah.
like a tribal
Tigers usually.
tigers,
Tigers or
yeah.
hmm
And they know where to get some meth, you know. And they
yeah.
maybe drive a Ford Falcon, like a tradie kind of truck. Yeah.
You're on it.
Yeah. See,
You've
I
got
know.
it.
I do know the
Yeah,
guy. I know exactly the guy. Yeah.
you know. Yeah,
His uncle's a tradie, and he like is like trying to do some work, but can't really get his shit together enough to even, you know, move some shit around. You know, like you can't even
yeah,
like do
yeah.
basic shit. That's a bogan.
Pretty
That's what a
much,
bogan
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
But fuck,
Yeah.
you know, AC/DC is a great band, but you had a better band from there before called Rose Tattoo.
Yes, yeah. Hello. As if I don't know who that is. Um,
Well,
you
let's
know it's
actually, the quiz isn't done yet. What do you think of the colored balls?
the colored balls.
Oh yeah, you don't know about this.
Don't think
Uh,
so.
it's like your Australian version of what's it called? It's called Sharpies. You know about the Sharpie movement?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, colored balls. And Billy Thorpe and the Aztecs. You have good music
Yes, I
from
know
Australia.
them. I know
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
What is
Yeah,
your
I grew up.
favorite Australian band? Like, what are you most proud of? And don't say Nick Cave because he moved away a long time ago. But you could say Nick Cave if you absolutely feel like. I mean, he is an Australian. Absolutely, he's an Australian. But who is your most like? You could say Nick Cave, and I would not be mad if you said Nick Cave. I might say that that's the greatest talent that's come out of there. Oh shit! No, is that true? No, I mean you can't forget NXS and Michael Hitchens.
Hutchins, yep.
Hutchins, yeah,
Um,
I said it wrong. So, but I mean, what an immense talent. That, like, what a fucking
yeah,
ripoff
there's
that
there's
guy.
a lot. That whole
His,
like year, that whole like early what was it? Late 80s, early 90s
yeah,
has a lot of good music. Like a
yeah,
lot of good music. Like I've always been a massive AC/DC
band.
person.
Yeah.
Always, since I was a little kid. Um,
Well, it works for kids. It works for everybody. It's so good. Like,
and I mean, I listened to the like, and of course, yes, Nick Cave, but like, but more like the birthday party and blah blah blah.
oh,
Like
yes.
earlier, like when he was, I mean, he comes back here like 3 times a year anyway. His family's all here, but
Oh,
so he's always here. But
he's amazing. You know, like
so
like,
he'd be my number one. But but then there's
but
like
does
yeah,
he
someone.
count because he left? He left the.
This is the thing with Australia.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Please tell me.
Doesn't matter if you left. You still came from here. We're going to claim you. It's like Kylie Minogue doesn't live here. She's still ours. She's not really. She's been living in England for like
Forever.
centuries.
Yeah.
Like she's not
Why do
ours, but
people
like
trash Kylie Minogue so hard on her looks? That's one thing I've never got. Like, do you know that? Like, people always trash her about her. Like,
no.
well, I think they did, like, kind of like in the way that people trashed ABBA about the way that
Oh yeah, like back
Rita
when
looks.
she was
It's
when
like,
she was real popular.
it's like, yeah, like back then. That's what I'm talking about. I guess
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
showing my age.
Because she was like really, because she's actually like, I think she's shorter than me, and you
But
remember how
she's not
short I
bad
am.
looking. I mean, I don't understand.
No, she's not bad looking at
Is
all.
it
No.
is it a jealousy thing? People gotta
All right,
find something mean to
we
say.
we call it
Yeah.
tall poppy syndrome.
What is it?
Tall poppy syndrome.
Oh,
So like basically like there's like this
a tall poppy.
there's like a field of
Poppy.
poppies, and there's a tall poppy, which is like someone like amazing who's doing great things, and in Australia we just go chop them off.
Fucking hate him. You
yeah, we
fucking
hate
hate
it.
them.
Yeah, it's I mean not me, but it's a like a it's an Australian almost
Interesting.
institution to to like bag people who are doing really good, you know, or whatever.
What do you?
So
Yeah, I mean,
they call it.
there's probably the same thing in every culture, like across, the boards. But I've never heard that phrase, "tall
I
poppy
guess it's
syndrome."
like
That's so
yeah,
funny. Yeah, because you guys
yes.
don't really grow poppies either. Like, don't
No, we
you?
don't. Well,
Yeah,
actually, no, because we have the red poppy for like
the war. Yeah, the World War
war.
II. Yeah, World War II.
Yeah,
The veterans.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always been called tall poppy syndrome, and
Wow, that's interesting. That's really interesting.
yeah, we're
That's
all like
it's too bad that people do that. Of course, like I mean, that
yeah,
goes
it's
without
because
saying.
it's like a it's because it's like you know the whole thing like big fish in a little pond type thing,
Yeah, it's the
and
same.
it's like
I guess
because
I
we're
feel
so
that here,
small.
a lot of people here, I think, have a lot of opinions about me without knowing me because I do stuff elsewhere. And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not here all the time to interact with them, But I hear, you know, people have opinions about me everywhere I go. But here in Seattle, my own hometown, they have sometimes the worst.
yeah,
They harbor sort of the worst feelings, and I'm just like, and they.
yeah.
I mean,
I
I
mean,
don't know why. I mean, it could be because I'm a piece of shit. I don't think that's why. I feel like I'm a pretty good person,
no,
but
it's probably like the jealousy thing. Like I think like
it could be like a
when
tall poppy thing.
yeah, when I was like this is I think I've said this to you in the past, like you know, way back. I mean, fuck, I don't even know how long ago that was. Like when
We've
we
known each other
actually,
forever. We've known each other for a long time, for over a
yeah, like
decade. Yeah,
yeah, like right in the very beginning, like you know, and I think I probably said like over here, people aren't interested in helping you out, like or you know,
yeah,
and I have you know like so when I first ever started doing the blog and all that
yeah,
it'd be like, oh, no one wants to tell you how to do anything because they don't want to give their secrets away, or you know, they don't want to like people don't
right.
want to help other people in any industry pretty much. Like it used to be a really big problem, you know, like so I would have so many people from America or Europe or wherever, everywhere else but my own country supporting me. Like, and I
How
still have
weird is that?
more. Yeah, it's like my audience still for the site and stuff is basically all America and Europe, not Australians. I don't have a huge Australian following.
And when you said
Like,
like earlier, like people don't want to help each other out. They don't want to like share contacts or
yeah,
or
because they don't want you to then overtake them. So like, it is this like really competitive thing. So it's like you know, and no one wants to do like, oh no, 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 and
I relate to that
yeah,
here. I mean, back in 2012 or 2011, 2012, I started to promote shows here with
mm-hmm,
under the umbrella of Actual Pain, my clothing company, and I did
mm-hmm,
some great shows. I did shows for bands like Cold Cave, Light Asylum, Dim Dyke Stare. We did a lot of stuff. It wasn't just me; it was other promoters. That
yeah,
we are a team of like 4 promoters. We worked really hard to get it going, and it was really good. But there was another group of promoters in the city that did a big, like, sort of dark electronic festival and techno thing, and they just hated us without knowing us, like without.
yeah,
And it was like it was almost vitrolic, the level in which they just wanted us to fail.
yeah,
And the reason I think they felt that way is because they, from what I understand, is they felt like we were buying shows, like we were paying artists more than what they were
yeah,
worth. I remember I did Psychic TV back in 2000 and I don't know 10, 11. I can't remember when I did that show. It might have been 2012, 13. It might have been around then.
mm-hmm,
And the way I did the deal, because I'd done shows before and I wasn't really a promoter, but I knew how to do that into the job well enough because it's not fucking rocket science. It's rock and roll. It's pretty easy.
yeah,
You make a poster, you tell people when it's going to be, you secure a venue, and you just
mm-hmm,
fucking have a show. That's that.
yeah,
Hey, guess what? That's the formula. And
yeah,
I felt that like Psychic TV was really ready to come back because after the 2007 show in Seattle, there was no one there. It was rather poorly attended. It was poorly promoted. I felt like that was a travesty that something I
to
could,
them, yeah.
fix. And being on
Mhm.
Deus Records, and they were on Deus Records, it was easy to make the direct ins to talk to the artist
To
directly.
talk to them, yeah.
Yeah, and so in the deal, I remember I worked out a back end deal for them because I didn't need the money. I wasn't doing the show for money. I
Yeah,
was
you just
doing it
wanted to
for
do
the
something.
love of the fucking show, and I wrote in like something like a 100% overage goes to them. And when I ended up paying them, I paid them like $3,000 or $4,000 extra beyond their guarantee because it was in the contract. And then just the
Mhm.
look on Edley's face when he's like, "This is crazy. Like no one ever paid like, and it's just a stack of money too." And I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, but that's how, like how thievery is so well ingrained in that portion of our industry of my
Mhm.
industry." That it's so unheard of that people can be astonished by somebody actually doing what they said they're going to do.
They were gonna do, yeah.
Yeah.
We have a huge we have a huge problem with promoters over here. Like
Oh, I'm sure. Because
massive.
I mean,
They're
half
just
the
all
battle for artists is getting there. And then I know that you know, promoters there will sometimes really try and minimize their cost of getting the artist there, and then they try and like put the cost onto the artist. So
Oh yeah. So
yeah,
so many promoters are like, you like the band has to fly themselves, which I think is fucking insanity. Because it's
yeah.
not
I mean,
like, because
you
it's an
have some good ones
expensive
though. Like
flight.
the promoters that did my tour in April,
Yeah,
amazing. Then they've
yeah.
done really good stuff, but they're not like
They're not
they were
a
like
huge big.
they were like me, like they were like the outsider. That
Yeah,
I think I was their first show that they did, and then they did some after, and
yeah,
they didn't really need to do it for money. That wasn't their
yeah,
intention. They were doing it for the right reasons, which is so
yeah, yeah.
fucking crazy to think about. Like, think
Mm.
about like promoters trying to promote a small band like mine, or like some other dark sort of goth or whatever the fuck you want to call it, some other little thing
Mm.
for money. Like that's like a weird fucking thing. You should
Yeah,
absolutely be doing it for because you love it, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, I've had other offers, but they were kind of like scammy, kind of feeling offers to come to Australia,
Mm.
and you know, you say no. You just that's another thing that would surprise people is how often I've said no. Or like how often people have to say no. You don't say yes to
Yeah.
everything you get, and that's one thing I would like scream at a young artist that is like desirable. Say
Don't take it.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, just say no. Don't take a bad deal ever. Like never.
Yeah.
Like, you take one, everyone found out you took it, and then
Yeah. Exactly. And then it's like you're fucked.
and they all
It's like
talk to
this,
each other too. So it's like, what do you want to do with your
they
life?
do.
What,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, do you want to do this for a living? And that's a really tough thing too to navigate that terrain. It's like, is this my job? Is this my passion? How do you balance that? Well, it's a little bit
Yeah.
of column A, it's a little bit of column, but
Ooh.
don't get fucked is what I would tell a young person. Don't take a bad deal. Never. If you don't take a single bad deal in your career, you'll probably never you won't get them in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I was before COVID happened. I was working on like doing a couple of shows, and yeah, like I was really surprised by the promoter and what the promoter was willing to offer, and those kind of things, like, and it's just like just for local bands even, like,
Right.
but and you just think, fuck, that's nothing, like it's fucking nothing, and like
Yeah.
it's pretty like it's pretty shit. But I
Well,
was
I absolutely hate it when they don't budget for openers. Like when promoters will just be like,
oh no,
uh,
they're gonna get someone for free, or like
free
I'm
or
gonna
like a
pay
pay to play.
hundred. Yeah,
You
so
should. I
bad.
mean, you should dip your toes into, or look into how metal tours are done. They're terrible. I know.
Oh, I've seen I've seen quite a few here. They're even worse, especially when like there's like loads of them. We get like quite a lot of like a lot of metal bands in one like
Yeah, yeah,
plane.
yeah. Those are the ones I'm talking about. Where like
Mm,
you could guess that the 5 bands at the bottom of the poster have in some way, shape, or form paid to play that concert, which is
yeah,
absurd. Like also it's not a fucking enjoyable event for anyone. Like
yeah,
like for the from the venue to the sound technician to the security guards to the concert goers to the people playing, it's just like nobody wants to see 8 bands in one night. No one. And no one will. Like, they will come for the headliners anyways. So those bands are paying the, you know, they're making up the difference in what the headliners are asking for. It's a disgusting methodology that should just be abandoned. And thankfully, COVID is kind of forcing, you know, that out of the equation. Like, it's like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But did you see what Live Nation did? Do you know about Live Nation? Yeah. That is some shit. Like,
that's
I
why
thought they were going to do something bad. I thought they were going to do something really bad, like snatch up venues that couldn't, you know, sustain themselves.
Can't sustain.
But I did not expect them to come at artists like.
I wasn't surprised at all.
I wasn't surprised, but I didn't expect it. I was like, yeah, well, that makes sense, but didn't think that they would. I don't know who did they send that to? Did they just like? I mean,
I don't know.
What do they think was going to happen? That's such a PR disaster.
It's the worst thing they could have possibly, But yeah, I find it really funny, and I can only talk to a small amount of it because I used to work for Live Nation. And
are you still under some like strange NDA? You can't talk about it? Okay, so we won't talk about it. So from now on, we'll say, instead of Live Nation, we'll say something else. We'll say Dead Country. Okay, so what did Dead Country do to you? What did they say? Yeah, Dead Country. We're not talking about Live Nation. We're talking about Dead Country.
Dead Country, yeah. Yeah, well, you know, just really bad, I guess, what do you call it? Bullying culture. And
you should put them on blast right now. Fuck them.
Yeah, I know. They well, I mean, they're fucking themselves, like, you know, like, especially the Australian one because it's so small. You know what I mean? So, you know, and they've always treated local artists crap.
Yeah, of course.
Like, really crappily.
They've always.
And yeah, and now,
like if you're an opening artist, if you get like $100, that's like,
you're lucky.
Sweet.
Yeah, they try to.
Thank God.
Yeah,
that's so
they
nice
try to.
Thank you.
Yeah, they try to convince people to play for nothing all the time. Like, and people do.
I've done so many Live Nation shows, never like as a headliner. You know, usually it's like when I support somebody else, like direct support, and then I deal with them a lot. And their whole thing always, like, all their venues, they're always the same. It's like somebody with a clipboard who's like, hello, I'm the production manager tonight, and I represent, or like, I represent Live Nation. Are you the individual I should make a check to? It's like literally going to the bank, you know, like they're just so sterilized. And the other thing that you would get if you didn't get a Live Nation show is the most scumbag, coked out, you know, club owner who's like gonna try and rip you off. So it's like, I understand why they want to sterilize it why they want to make it like sort of like Chase Bank or something. Like they want to make it like this you know, corporate version of it. But
like by doing what they've just done, by saying, hey, we're going to punish artists.
Yeah, they've really
basically
passed the buck on to nuts.
You know, and that like covers a lot of people. Like, think about, like, just for Australia, for example, like at the beginning of this year, there was all festivals and everything, and they're under Live Nation or Dead Country, and they
Dead Country, you meant? Yeah,
Dead Country, yeah. And like those you know, like, so what happens to those bands? Like, now so they want them to pay them because COVID happened. That's just fucking fucked.
Well,
it's not fair.
Like, I don't know how that works. Like, if they're talking about,
well, basically they want like
basically you can't. Well, for them, for what they're saying, that they're saying going forward from this point forward, like, there's no way they could retroactively, you know, adjust a signed contract. But like, if you know, with a deposit in, like, they can't say like COVID was an act of God, but now they're making it like your fault if you can, you know what I mean? If like COVID, so it's like that's going forward from the point that I know that, as far as I understand it. But it's still
Mm.
such a nightmare. Like,
Well, because basically all those shows, most of them will be rescheduled, and
yeah, I
then
mean, but the thing,
they will make them re-sign new shit.
yeah, but the thing
Like
is about that,
it's
like
just
moving another calendar season on top of another calendar season, which they tried to do
mm,
for the fall. Now they're doing it in the spring. You got 3 seasons on top of, one calendar season.
yeah,
That's stretching the attention span of all the concert goers. It's
mm,
unreasonable. Like, you can't do that. That's why they're
and that
doing extreme contract changes. But
yeah, but
you
they're
know what?
all
If I
like
was presented with that, like, should we sign that or not? If my agent showed
mm,
me a contract like that, I'd go, no, fuck
no.
them. And I'm
Well,
sure
this
that,
is
and I'm a little guy, a lot of bigger guys are going to be like, fuck that. They're going to strike that shit off the.
oh,
That's just
$100%.
that's their
Because
first.
we've got
Yeah.
they're one of the big they're like one of the big four in Oz, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The other three are not going to do that. They've just fucked themselves. They've just shot themselves in the face because a lot of the bigger bands are now going to say, "Well, fuck you, and we're not going to come with you. Then
Right. Right.
we'll
Right.
go
They
with
have.
these guys."
Yeah.
And
I
that's what
think.
happens all the time.
Yeah, I think it's
Like,
like it was a crazy like move on their part. Like, I don't know what they thought. I don't know if they overshot on thinking what their value was as a promoter, or what, like, or how much control they had, or how much money they have in the bank, and they could do a power move like this.
yeah, or whether they
Or
it
what
was
they assume about the other people in Australia that are promoting. Like, are they able to, like, this could be a thing where they're just like assuming that the other people can't, meet the demands of the artist, and aren't prepared for the fallout that'll come when shows are canceled by COVID, and that will,
mm,
you know, deplete their bank accounts when they have to pay the artist because Scott Morrison decides that all of a sudden there's a second wave of it, and he's got
yeah,
to.
you can't come.
Yeah. So it's like, I think, yeah, no, but seriously, like, it could, like, they could be
And I'm
playing that
just like,
game.
no, come.
I don't think of them as stupid. I don't know what they're thinking. Like, when I see that, I'm like, Jesus, did they not think that this document would leak? What did they think? And it also seems so premature. Like, it seems like, and
Yeah,
yeah, and also, like, why would, yeah, what would they expect everybody just to conscribe to that sort of those demands? They're
yeah,
insane. It puts
that's the
everything on the
thing.
artist.
Having worked for them, I can say that yeah, they would. They'll expect everyone to just fall into line. That they're delusional about their power.
Well, what do you think
And
is the solution? How do you find a solution there?
well, like none of the other huge promoters have done the same thing. They've just been like, cool, we'll do
Oh,
local
yeah, like,
shows.
yeah,
We'll
we're gonna
do
try.
local shows and shit, and like
Yeah,
because they've always been nice to local bands
yeah,
and local festivals and stuff. So they've all got good relationships. But then yeah, Live Nation doesn't really, and like one of their subsidiary companies does good stuff with locals and like overseas, but the actual Live Nation themselves, yeah, like I said, don't have the best relationship with local bands. So it's going to be a big struggle for they're obviously trying to figure out how they're going to meet all of their targets and blah 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 blah, and all of their different stakeholders and different businesses and different trees and all that shit. Um, in order to keep them afloat, they're not worried about the artist or the music or it's just about them.
yeah,
And like with the and then you see with the other like big promoters, they've been much more um, like getting committees together and talking about how we can save our music scene, da 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 da, rather than hey, we're just putting out a plan of like how we're gonna help ourselves. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
not you. And
I
like I think
I wonder what
it'll
Dark Mofo is thinking right now.
yeah. I don't know. Like it's funny. I was working with a particular artist who's like a folkish sort of artist, and yeah, no one wanted to do like I couldn't get the decent deal for him in Australia, But Dark Mofo,
Well, Dark Mofo's like the best. Like they
the
always,
best. I know.
like
I
literally the
spoke.
best in the world. Like the
That's
best
what I
treated
and
I've
that's
ever
what I
been at any festival of my life. And this is like in 2015.
the,
So this
yeah,
is like, I
early
mean, if
on.
anything, like I should have been. You know, this is before. It might have been 14. It's like 15,
I
2015.
think it was 15. Yeah,
They were amazing. The level of care
they're
that,
so nice
and
and
yeah, like I love them. I, I, I wish there was something of that caliber, you know, in the States. It's one thing that like Australia clearly does better than the rest of the world, and I will say that, I will scream that from the mountaintops. Is
yeah,
Dark
yeah,
Mofo is one of the, it is, if not the greatest festival on earth. Like, um, and they had to cancel this year, of course, because everyone does. But you know,
yeah,
uh,
yeah. And you did you see what they they've just put out a hoodie that's like
the
Dark
hoodie, yeah,
Mofo.
with
Yeah, have you
the,
seen
I
it?
mean,
With all
that's
the
like
band.
right up their alley. They like print Dark Mofo 2020, all the
Yeah,
bands on the
yeah.
back, but crossed
Scrubbed
out.
out.
That's
Yeah,
so them. Like,
yeah.
why are they so good? Like, you know, how is that
It's
such the
because
best?
they've got like such really like people like you and I like
Yeah.
working there. They have like a huge team, and it's like a lot
Well,
of really
hey,
people who are just clever. You know
no,
what I
from what
mean?
I understand, is like the guy who runs it, or like who finances it, has
The
just like
finance guy.
so much money. Like he's made too much money, and
Yeah. So he was
and
the
he,
professional. He was the professional gambler. I
yes,
think I
that's what
told
I've
you
heard.
that
Like an
story.
online gambler.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking, I love this guy so much. What a,
Yeah.
this is
So
our
he
flavor.
opened.
This is the guy
Yeah.
that we. This is the hero we deserve in the rock and roll industry. Is like a guy who just went
Yeah.
on online gambling. Like, I
Yeah.
love this story. And then he met the fella from the Violent Femmes, yeah,
Correct. Yeah.
and asked him
They've
to help
joined.
curate the festival. And
Hmm.
yeah, recently I was on tour with Amigo the Devil, and he like his tour manager was friends with a guy from the Violent Femmes who lives, I guess, in like, where did we play, like Milwaukee or something? I can't remember,
Yeah.
but he came to the show, the guy, and all I wanted to talk to him about was like how great Dark Mofo
Mofos.
and I was like, could you, are you the guy no, you're not? Okay. Because I guess the one guy from Violent Femmes moved to Tasmania.
Yeah. I mean,
I
it's
don't
not
know. I
cool.
don't know. But
I always
anyways,
get it.
I told him,
Yeah.
I go, the guy from the Violent Femmes that wasn't the guy that works on Dark Mofo. I said to him, I go, can you tell your bandmate how much I love
Loved it.
the like the fact that Dark Mofo is such a good, well curated festival. It's like perfect. It's the most perfect thing on earth. Would you please tell him that for me? And he goes, "Oh, I will," and he will love to hear that. Trust me. Like
Brian,
his ego
it's
will be stroked. Yeah,
Brian Ritchie is his name.
yeah.
So
I'm
he's.
not the hugest Violent Femmes fan. I don't really care. I mean, I'm not
I'm just
not
trying to
against
figure
it.
it
I'm not
for
for it. I
myself.
don't care. I'm just like, I remember it from the '90s. I remember it from like uh, some '90s movie or something. But
Reality Bites.
Reality Bites things, and yeah, that's about my beginning and end of it. But
Yeah, I was
really,
like,
his legacy, I swear to God, will be Dark Mofo.
the
That is
mofo.
the
Yeah.
fucking
Oh yeah.
greatest thing.
Well, because the first thing they did was like, first thing they did was build the art gallery.
Oh, and the art end of it is just insane.
So that's how
Like,
it started. They built the art gallery, and then they started having a festival called Monofoma, which is like not as dark. And then it was like, okay, then they're doing Dark Mofo. And you'll be pleased to know that they're starting a Dark Mofo in Melbourne
so
as well.
oh, really?
Yep. So yeah, the plan was,
I
yeah,
like it in
they're
Tasmania. To be honest, I don't like that it's moving to
it'll
Melbourne.
be a
I don't
different
like that it's moving to Melbourne. How will it be like South by South? I don't want it to turn into a shit show.
no. I think it's going to be like a different name, like like it'll be a different. It's like that,
The
different
reason
people,
it works
different.
is because it's in Tasmania. Nobody goes to Tasmania. You guys think
Exactly,
everybody that's
exactly.
inbred is from Tasmania, and
Yeah.
that's why it works. because it's
Yeah,
the
it's true.
highest
It's
apex
true.
of art and culture in the place where
Yeah.
you all think nothing good can come out of it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's all taken there. Just remember that. It's
Well,
not from
I know
there. It's a
nobody
taken
from
there.
Tasmania. I know that it's not like showcasing local Tasmanians. I understand that.
I just find that
You
funny.
savagely fucking xenophobic motherfucking Melbourne person. You're all the same.
No.
Like, you know what's so funny is like if you come to America and
Yeah.
and uh and you're Australian and they don't know the difference between New Zealanders and
And
Tasmanians.
Australian.
Like you're all just from there, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, you're the same though, right? And you're like,
Yeah.
no, we're not. And they're like, yeah, but you are.
Yeah.
That's yeah. I mean, you should.
I mean,
Not.
I've seen people like people forget to put Tasmania, like, like
Oh yeah,
on
yeah, on
things,
the
and I've
map.
been
I've
like,
seen that with New Zealand. Poor New Zealand. Yeah,
I'm like, oh my
maybe.
God. No, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, you're right, it is. But yeah, the thing that they're going to do in Melbourne is like a different thing. So it won't be at the same time. It'll be like a brand new, completely different thing.
Well,
I
I
think
hope
it's
it's
because,
good. I mean, I'm sure it will be. I think Melbourne is kind of like a hipster town, and I worry that it will be fucked up because of that. Like
yeah,
you know what I
it's
mean? Like
just,
it'll be
I
too
do, yeah.
much. I think the reason that Dark Mofo works so well is because it's in a place like Tasmania, a place that
Yeah.
nobody looks at, and
Mm.
they could like transform Hobart into this place where upside down crosses are like, everywhere across the
Everywhere. Yeah,
dark.
it's amazing.
I love I think it was last year when they did right side up crosses, and then they
Yeah,
got shit for that, and then we
yeah.
were like, why are they right side up? They're like, because we don't fucking care about what you think like any
Mm.
of the shit should be. I mean, that kind of like radicalism in art is like, it's just rare. It's like rare. The year I played in 2015, the headliner was Anthony and the Johnstons. That
I
like
know, but you know who the headliner was this year?
no.
What's his name? Bon Iver.
Oh yeah, I kind of know who that is. Who is that? That's somebody from a band, or is
He's
that?
like a media. He's like a mainstream musician.
Well, I
You
guess
know,
COVID canceled that. I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, a lot of
but
Brent
I
Chelsea has
know that
played it.
it's,
Like people have
yeah,
played it that.
amazing. Like there was like Lingua was going to be playing it this year,
Yeah, exactly. You can't look at the headliner
and
and decide what a festival's like anymore
it's
because
just, yeah, it's just because of the Hobart Council, because
do
they
you
like,
think that even festivals are even worthwhile? Like, I mean, in a post-COVID world, are they even worthwhile? Should we just like hang up our coat and hat on festivals?
on
Do we
festivals. Well,
need
I
to?
don't know.
I think it might be time for them to be done. Like,
Well,
honestly, like,
I
I
don't
didn't like
really
them
go to
before.
them.
I learned to like them after I played a couple. I played Hellfest, played
Mm.
Dark Mofo around the same time, and I learned to like them. But honestly, I don't like to attend them. Like, I don't like
Yeah,
to.
I don't
No,
like
it's
to
not
go
fun
to
as
them.
an attendant. I would like to see shows reduce their size down to like you know, for me, it's easy. I can do 100 people a night in every city, no fucking problem. And
Yeah,
those 100 people that turn up will be the best people, like
yeah,
for the
really good.
show, right? Um,
Instead of having all
it,
these people who aren't
yeah,
really
do I
interested.
need to do like 5,000 people? Do I need to turn people on to what I'm doing at this point? I
Mm.
don't think so. I've been doing this for 10 years. You know, what are we doing at this point? Like, um,
Yeah,
and also it's dangerous, right? They're saying it's dangerous, you know, uh, let's not do it.
yeah, like
You know?
just don't do it for ages. Yeah. Um, what was I gonna say? I'm getting a little notice that we're gonna run out of our
We're running
hour,
out of time.
so I'm gonna call you right back because we're not finished yet.
Oh, we're not finished yet.
No, you've been blabbergasting, So
You haven't asked me a single question yet.
because you've been talking straight to me. I like a
That's my
conversation.
that's how I
That's a,
win an
yeah,
interview. Is
it
I
is. It is. I love it. So
wait
this
till
is
you
more
ask
of
me a
a.
question, then you'll see my real interview techniques come out.
All right, I'll call
You
you.
thought you thought